Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow in a world that looks exactly like yours. Same streets, same people, same opportunities. But there's one difference. Everyone is randomly assigned a new financial position. Some wake up rich. Some wake up broke. Most, somewhere in between. No warning. No explanation. Just one question echoing in everyone's mind. Why them, and not me? Now here's the twist. This isn't just a story. This is an experiment. And by the end of it, you'll realize something uncomfortable. The game was never as fair as we thought. Let's begin. In this experiment, we take 100 people. That's it. Just 100. We strip away their past, their connections, their advantages. And then we redistribute wealth like this. One person gets 40% of all the money. 9 people share another 40%. The remaining 90 people split just 20%. Sounds extreme. This is actually very close to reality. Now watch carefully what happens next. At the start, everyone is told. Work hard, and you can succeed. Simple. Fair. Motivating. But here's what they don't tell you. The starting line isn't the same. The richest person begins the game with access to the best tools, the best information, the lowest risk. They can invest without fear. Because even if they fail, they still win. The middle group. They have just enough to survive. But not enough to take big risks. They hesitate. They calculate. They wait. And sometimes, that waiting costs them everything. And the bottom 90? They're not thinking about investing. They're thinking about survival. Food. Rent. Bills. Every decision feels like life or death. And here's the brutal truth. When you're busy surviving, you can't focus on winning. Now the experiment introduces a new rule. Every year, everyone must pay a small cost to stay in the game. For the rich, it's nothing. For the middle, it's stressful. For the poor, it's devastating. Some drop out immediately. Not because they're lazy, but because the system demands more than they have. And yet, the world keeps repeating the same line. Why didn't they just try harder? Let's go deeper. Now we introduce opportunity. A new investment appears. It promises huge returns. But there's a catch. You need money to enter. The rich jump in instantly. They diversify. Even if one investment fails, 10 others succeed. The middle class hesitates. What if I lose everything? Some take the risk. Some don't. The poor. They can't even enter. The opportunity passes them by. Not because they didn't want it, but because they were never allowed in. Fast forward. Years pass. The gap widens. The rich become richer. Not just because they worked harder, but because they had access to things others didn't. And then something interesting happens. The system rewards success. The rich gain influence. They start shaping the rules. Taxes. Policies. Access. Suddenly, the game isn't just unfair. It's designed to stay that way. Now pause for a moment. Think about this. If 2 people run a race, but one starts 100 meters ahead and wins, did they really run faster? Back to the experiment. Now we introduce education. Everyone gets access to knowledge. Same information. Same lessons. Same advice. Save money. Invest early. Think long term. Sounds fair, right? But here's the problem. Advice without context is useless. Telling someone to invest early means nothing if they're struggling to eat today. The rich use education to multiply wealth. The middle class uses it to maintain stability. The poor, they understand it, but can't apply it. And then society makes another assumption. If you know better, you should do better. But that ignores one critical factor. Capability is not the same as opportunity. Now the experiment reaches its most uncomfortable phase. We introduce perception. People start judging each other. The rich say, I earned this. The middle say, I'm trying. The poor are told, you're not doing enough. But nobody sees the full picture. Nobody sees the starting point. Nobody sees the invisible advantages. Let's change one thing. Just one. We reset the game again. Same 100 people. But this time, everyone starts equal. Same money. Same access. Same opportunity. Now watch what happens. At first, everything feels fair. Balanced. Hopeful. But slowly, differences appear again. Some take risks. Some play safe. Some get lucky. Some don't. And over time, a gap forms again. Not as extreme, but still real. This reveals something important. Even in a fair system, inequality can emerge. But here's the key difference. It grows slower, and it's easier to fix. Now combine both realities. An unfair start. And natural inequality over time. What do you get? A system where the gap doesn't just grow. It explodes. Back to our original world. The experiment ends. The results are clear. The rich win more often. The middle struggles to keep up. The poor fight just to stay in the game. But here's the question that matters most. Is this about individuals, or the system itself? Because if success depends heavily on where you start, then failure isn't always a personal flaw. And success isn't always purely earned. This doesn't mean effort doesn't matter. It does. A lot. But effort alone isn't enough. Think of it like this. Effort is the engine. But opportunity, that's the fuel. Without fuel, even the strongest engine goes nowhere. Now here's where it gets real. You, watching this right now, you're part of the experiment. Every decision you make, every opportunity you get, every challenge you face, it's all shaped by where you started. But here's the powerful part. Awareness changes everything. Because once you see the system, you stop blaming blindly. You start thinking strategically. Instead of asking, why is this unfair? You start asking, how do I play this smarter? You learn to build skills that create leverage. Look for opportunities others miss. Manage risk instead of avoiding it. Think long-term, even when it's hard. And most importantly, you stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Because the truth is, some people are born ahead. Some are born behind. But everyone has a chance to move forward. Maybe not equally. Maybe not easily. But progress is always possible. And that brings us to the final question. The one that matters more than anything else. If the system isn't perfectly fair, will you let that stop you? Or will you learn how to win anyway? Because at the end of this experiment, there are only two types of people. Those who understand the game. And those who are controlled by it. So choose carefully. Because now, you see it. If this opened your eyes even a little. If it made you think differently. If it challenged what you believed. Then don't just scroll away. Subscribe. Because the next video might change the way you play the game entirely. The experiment is over. But your story? It's just getting started.